As India braces for longer and more intense summers, the burden of extreme heat is falling hardest on those least equipped to cope, including the urban poor, outdoor workers, pregnant women, and the elderly. With temperatures rising across the country, public health, urban planning, and climate action experts are increasingly advocating one solution: passive cooling. As the term suggests, passive cooling refers to measures that do not require energy and instead rely on affordable solutions such as ensuring cross ventilation, providing shade, and painting roofs with materials such as lime to help keep buildings relatively cool.
You know that active cooling needs energy, and it has its cost implication also. And when we talk in the context of vulnerable population living in the poor settlement, then this passive cooling techniques has an important role in addressing their vulnerabilities by addressing the direct heat impact in their household setting, right? So passive coolant solution like ensuring cross ventilation, putting a curtain in the windows, having some lime, floor and roof painting. These are the cheap intervention, I will say.
Experts say extreme heat can have serious health impacts, with pregnant women, newborns, and other vulnerable groups facing the greatest risks.
When we say the health impact of the heat exposure, so we classify it as a short term, which is acute. It ranges from the convulsion, confusion, impaired mental status to the stroke at a severe impact. And long term impact it has in the form of changing hemodynamics through the hemodynamic physiology in the body. So that may lead to the increased blood pressure to the long term, leading to the hypertension, cardiovascular morbidities. If you talk about the pregnant woman, that has impact on the pregnancy outcomes and also the newborn in terms of the low birth weight, prematurity. Also, some studies also reported the congenital malformation in the long-term heat impact among the pregnant woman.
Among others, the United Nations Environment Programme has been piloting a range of passive cooling interventions across India's most heat-stressed communities, from cool roofs, insulation and shading to ventilation and nature-based solutions.
And UNEP has been working with the central government, a number of state governments, on the affordable housing scheme of the Government of India, trying to integrate passive cooling measures, which we know can decrease discomfort hours from heat by 35%, while remaining completely affordable. We're not talking about air conditioning here, we're talking about passive cooling measures. To integrate that into how these buildings are built from the outset.
In Rajasthan, passive cooling stations that stay up to 12 degrees cooler than the outside temperature are making their mark across urban and semi-urban settlements.
So, for example, in the city of Jodhpur, Jaipur, Churu in Rajasthan, we have constructed the cooling stations for the people who are staying outside. The entire cooling station has been designed using the passive cooling technologies. And these cooling stations are providing temperature lower by like 10 to 12 degrees Celsius compared to outside temperature. They don't require any kind of electricity energy.
Beyond lowering temperatures, studies suggest these measures can improve sleep, reduce fatigue, and boost productivity, helping communities cope better with prolonged heat exposure.
Sometimes the vulnerability to heat stress can increase when the people have not slept well, or if the body didn't get enough time to recover in the night. So when there is high heat indoor, people can be more fatigued and be less productive. After doing these interventions, what we saw was that people reported that they felt less fatigued, they were more productive in the day, they were more spending time indoors, and the children were spending time indoors. Usually children, like if the house is hotter, they go out and sit below a tree or something. So these are the things that we saw, and which helped us to understand that there is a linkage between passive cooling measures, health, productivity, and overall well-being.
However, passive cooling measures can also fall short of desired outcomes, according to experts.
So when there is a heat wave in general, people spend a lot of time indoors, whether it's in their schools, in houses, in anganwadis, or public health centers. Though these spaces are really effective in terms of providing safe space when there is an extreme heat episode, but if they continue to remain excessively hot, then these places can, be unsafe environment as well.
However, experts say passive cooling measures must be incorporated into heat action plans and housing policies. They also caution that these plans must be implemented on the ground rather than remaining only on paper.